Figure out ways to feed on them. All right. So here we are, and you can see that in some years, last year, for example, we had a really good migration here. We had a good migration right over at Quince Hills Refuge, and so we're located in a very important area, very important concentration area for this migration.
Okay, Christine, tell me what's going on in this room.
Well, this is the craft area. This is where we kind of try to connect kids with nature, getting them to make crafts that apply to what we're doing. Today it's Monarch Mania, so everything here revolves around butterflies and caterpillars and things like that. And it's just to encourage their creativity and to give them a positive experience that will try and draw them back into the refuges for other events, and as they get older, to get into more natural activities.
Well, it's a wonderful thing for them to get started with, and you teach them a little science and...
Yes. Matter of fact, we're trying to teach them, caterpillar to butterfly, but also earlier we had here a plant with a couple of little caterpillars and eggs and had them looking for those. So one of our friends, volunteers, who's a butterfly expert, brought that over and was giving them little stickers and tattoos when they could find the little caterpillars newly hatched.
Ah, great fun.
Yeah, it was.
So it's a lot of fun for the kids, it's educational, and of course the butterflies come through, but they don't last very long.
This is true. And every year we hope to have large numbers of them, but Mother Nature is fickle and doesn't always come on schedule. But in the meantime, we try to give them something that will connect them, even if we don't have butterflies here.
Well, has the cool weather had an effect on the migratory?
It may be having an effect, the different weather patterns. Part of it too is the migration, it's kind of a narrow band, and so it's unpredictable exactly where they'll land. But we're hoping that maybe some butterflies are showing up as we speak. While it's cool, they'll be roosting, and as the day warms up is when they become more active. And so we don't know for sure until we get out there with the nets.
Well, have a lot of fun with this year, and we'll talk to you again soon out here.
Well, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Quivira National Wildlife Refuge, Monarch Day, 2008, 9:30 in the morning.
See him?
Braylon, kind of walk though, or you're gonna scare it.
Oh my.
Oh.
Good luck.
Going too high.
Getting all itchy. Yeah.
They're little tiny mosquitoes too.
They are. You don't even.
Because Brian was saying now that it's been usually this one dying off and you said now that we had all that rain.
New crop of them.
Mosquitoes.
Now, if I'm going to trust you to hold this, can you hold it just very gently right there? She's already a little beat up. And knowing Pam, yep, she already got the number there. Now, you ready to let it? Remember how to let it go?
Just a
Now,
minute, Brian.
let me get out of the way so
Oh,
you get your
you
picture.
just let it go and I didn't get a picture. You were too fast. L-Y-N-N.
Wouldn't have ever got close.
Braylon. And this is B-R-E, capital A-N-N. And the last name is A-N-S-H-U-T-Z.
Anschutz, it's a good,
Anschutz.
good
Anschutz.
German name.
Yeah. Yep. And we're actually live near Radium. We have a St. John address.
And look, there's quail back there. That's right. You know, that's my little beaver. That's a prairie dog. You know how they look at prairie dogs? Ducks. Are you having fun? Yeah. Cool. That's so cool. What's that? Ooh. Did you do that? You're laughing. What kind of noise do you think that is? Is it a bird? Yeah. What type of bird do you think it is? A fly. That's a whooping crane. That is really big.
You've been here for, your family was here?
Yes, they've been in the area for over, well, my family had land here in this area. I've been here at the Refuge going on 24 years. And,
So you've got real roots to this area.
yes, I do.
Now tell me about the Refuge. It was established in 55?
Yeah, the Refuge was established in 1955. Acquisition finished in about 69. And on the Refuge there's 22,000 acres.
And it's a major flyway for...
Yes, a major flyway for waterfowl, endangered species, whooping cranes. And we have inland least terns, which are an endangered species that we have a protected nesting area for them during the summer.
And we have some bald eagles out here too.
Right, the bald eagles follow the waterfowl migration, and we've had as high as, so I think it was in 96, I had 142. It averages, I would say, anywhere from 75 to 80 eagles a year during the waterfowl migration, and that's what brings them in here. They're feeding on sandhill cranes or geese or ducks that have been injured, and that's what they feed on.
Now, when are the best times for the waterfowl migratory?
Well, if people want to come and look at the waterfowl, I always say between mid-October and mid-November, this is the best time for cranes, the hooping cranes will be here at that time. And usually I always tell them if you want to see hooping cranes, the last week of October is a good time. But during the migration, we can have over 1 million geese here and over 200,000 sandhill cranes. People go to the Platte to see the cranes, but we have big numbers here. I've seen as many as 350,000 sandhill cranes out here during the fall. And up on the big salt marsh is a place where you want to go and look at sunset. It's the most beautiful place to be as the sandhill cranes and the geese are coming in to rest for the night. And they've been out feeding, and so they'll come in there at sundown. So that's an excellent place to be at during the migration.
How many visitors a year do you folks get?
I suppose we get visitors from all over the world, and that number, we used to say 60,000, but I imagine it's over maybe in the neighborhood of 100,000 now. People come here. We're on the border of eastern and western species of birds, and so we get bird watchers from all over the world. We've had people here from Japan and Australia, England, and of course from all over the United States. So they come here to look for birds.
Now you have some special programs that go on here during the year. I know last Saturday was Monarch Mania.
Right, Monarch Mania, where they, of course, everybody knows they catch and tag the monarchs. And then like the first weekend in June is a fishing clinic and derby. And prizes are given for the largest fish, the smallest fish, the ugliest fish, or what have you. And then I believe it's, I want to say the 11th of October. I may be wrong on that. That we have National Wildlife Refuge Week, and that's where we have a celebration and people come in. We've had Will Rogers, Teddy Roosevelt, Amelia Earhart. Last year we had Dennis Rogers, who is a Native American. He is Apache, and he done a program here, native dances, and talked about the Native Americans and some of the things that the meaning of earth and so forth, and he was really good. This year, I'm not sure. Somebody said something about Buffalo Bill, but I don't know if that's correct or not. But these people are like college professors that do Teddy Roosevelt, Meriwether Lewis, William Clark.
They're educators who are...
They are college professors. They are those people. They have studied their history, those individuals, and they know exactly what they ate for breakfast every morning. And so these people are those people.
They're as good as having the real person standing in front of you.
Exactly, having the original person, and so they are. It's spectacular. And then we have also a barbecue, and people are welcome to come, and we have donations for that, but you can come and eat and watch the program. We have activities going on throughout the day. They usually start about 2 o'clock, and we have crafts, and we have people from the Sternberg Museum out of Hayes, Great Plains Nature Center. They'll have falcons or snakes or what have you for the kids to interact with, and so anyway, that takes place.
You have a bicycle ride this weekend.
Yeah, that's what they tell me. I don't know too much about it, but there is a bicycle ride, and they're going to be riding, I guess, through the refuge and around the refuge. So that's going to be taking place this weekend. And,
are we seeing any ecological concerns with the refuge? Or?
Well, there's always, you know, issues a lot of times with water. The water, you know, in drought situations, why there may be situations of that the water supplies and so forth. But in the last few years, we've had to deal with flooding here, and that has been a big issue because we maintain here a lot of the. We come up with a scenario that you take 2 full glasses of water and you pour one into the other and see where it goes. That is one of the things that we have to deal with because we maintain our water. We do not try to flood anybody out. We try to, you know, make things work and keep the refuge full and maintain the water and not release it to flood. But when you run into a high flood situation, there's not much you can do but maintain and let it go on through. So.
It's kind of like water on top of the dinner plate. At some point, it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, it's got to go somewhere, and so we work very hard to maintain the water situation, and of course, in flooding situations, we try to deal with maintaining and preventing anyone from having any flooding situations if we can kind of prevent it.
Take you for a ride through Quivira National Wildlife Reserve today, or Refuge. Well, down here by the observation tower and photo blind, there's a nature trail that wanders back around to the kids' pond. Come around that corner there, and all of a sudden we can see an awful lot. Now here we are, it says the history of Quivira. In 1541, Coronado visited this area in search of gold and riches. Although he found no gold, he was impressed with the Quiviran Indians and the fertility of the land. Coronado reported that the Quivirans grew corn, beans, pumpkins, and squash, and hunted buffalo, antelope, rabbit, prairie chicken, quail, dove, and waterfowl. Within a few hundred years, the Quivirans had disappeared. From the time of their departure until the mid-1800s, only nomadic Indian traders, trappers, and soldiers visited the area. The first settlers to arrive were ranchers whose large holdings, their holdings were quite large. Cattle of the Double Heart Ranch, founded in 1861, watered the Rattlesnake Creek and roamed the present Refuge area. The buffalo, antelope, deer, prairie chicken, waterfowl, and rabbits were still in abundance, though the buffalo avoided ranches stocked with cattle. Later on, it says here, occasionally flooding and saline conditions of the land slowed settlement of what is now the Refuge. Although the marshes had low cash value, they were important sources of meat, income, and recreation. Commercial hunters provided waterfowl by the wagon load to restaurants in Kansas City and other points east. As early as 1929, biologists recognized that the marshes had tremendous value to the migrating waterfowl and should be set aside as a national wildlife refuge. In 1955, the acquisition of Quivira National Wildlife Refuge was approved. Today the refuge encompasses over 21,000 acres, of which 5,000 acres are prime waterfowl habitat and other 16,800 acres are uplands which support an abundance and variety of wildlife. From this point at stop number 3, you can see a tremendous amount of what they call the Little Lake, which is about 900 acres in size. Agriculture stuff, 640 acres is a square mile, so this is a large marsh. Can't find some birds. Well, now we're at the end of the lake. And you can get a little bit better idea here what we're talking about as far as we allow fishing in it. Here at this end where we're at right now, there's even handicap accessible fishing. You can see this is quite a large lake. We're right here at the spillway. You can imagine here in a month or so, or even in a matter of a couple of weeks, this place is going to be completely packed with millions and millions of birds in here. They were telling me that they get in the range of 1 million ducks at any given time in here. Here we are a couple miles up the road from where we were before. The last one was number 5 and this is number 8. This is called a Migrant's Mile. It's a nature trail. It loops through and follows a path through the woodlands and across marshes and grasslands. It's a combination of surface, 3/4 wheelchair accessible loop and an additional half-mile of nature trail for a total distance of 1.25 miles. Just as the pioneers migrated across the prairies to find new homes and opportunities, waterfowl and other wildlife have migrated to the marshes and grasslands of Quivira National Wildlife Refuge. They come in search of suitable habitat to rest, feed, and raise their young. Here's a good example of the kind of wild waterfowl that we get out here. Just a small group that's migrating through now, but as you can see, these are some really quite pretty birds. We get millions and millions of these things out here every year. We are at the start of the Quivira Wildlife Drive. It's a 4-mile road loop on some elevated dikes which afford some of the best wildlife viewing areas on the refuge. It's recommended to travel slowly and keep the noise level down. Be observant and enjoy the wildlife. The birds are accustomed to vehicles and will generally be less disturbed if you remain in your car. Now, according to what we're being told, the best time is early morning, just after sunrise, before the birds go out to the surrounding fields to feed, and also at sunset when the birds return to the roost on the marsh. For waterfowl, the spring migration is most visible from mid-February through mid-March, while the fall migration usually starts up in mid-September and continues through November. Up to 300,000 ducks and geese may use Quivira during their migrations. Now, what they've given us for information this morning, they did a count this morning, and what we have out here so far today at the early morning count was 750 mallards, 1,350 northern pintails, 25 blue-winged teal, 1,200 green-winged teal, 650 American widgeons, 500 northern shovelers, 700 gladwalls, 15 ducks, 2,800 ruddy ducks, and 200 of unknown. So we had a total duck population this morning of 8,190. Now for geese, we had 120 Canadian geese, 2,200 coots, and 450 of those little creatures we just saw a minute ago, the white pelicans, as well as 20 double-crested cormorants. A along the edges of the road here as you come in, they recommend that you stay kind of in the middle of the road because some of the birds, especially the deerkill and the plovers, nest right on the side of the road. So you want to be careful, be considerate of the birds, and considerate of the habitat. They don't maintain this road as well as they'd like to simply because of the fact that it would disturb the birds. Hope you enjoy your visit here at Quivera. It says that this particular section will take about, it's 5.5 miles, but it takes about an hour to go through it. We're going to stop at a couple places on the way, and we'll see if we can't get some pictures of some wildlife for you. Well, now I'm going to say we might have found a duck or two out here. You can see there's quite a number of them out here this time of day even. We're only a mile or so down from where we were a moment ago. In the evening, I understand this is a much better place to watch what's going on. It's not quite as active this time of day. It's just about 1 o'clock local time. But as you can see, there's still a great number of birds out here. Well, as you can see out here, you're liable to run into anything on the road. This little fella's being a crossing guard, and he doesn't seem like he wants to go anywhere. We're down a little closer to the top of the big lake. We've been running pretty close to right beside it here for the last few miles. See if I can get this up high enough. It looks like we've got a bunch of Canadians right over there, just taking them a little siesta. See if we can get a little better picture of them. There they are. Nice looking group of geese. This area out here, as you can see, we'll take a pan around. And you can see that most of it is water that you can't even see. It's in the grassland and everything. This is about 8.5, 9 miles north of where we started out. As you can see, the water goes quite a distance in every direction. There's a lot of not only waterfowl out here, but a lot of upland game. And haven't seen any today, but there's usually a bunch of deer out here and some of the largest groups of turkeys I've ever seen. We sure would like to have you folks come out and look at what we've got here in central Kansas. I bet you didn't even know was here. Well, now at this site, this is a 1,500-acre big salt marsh. It stretches out south of the Wildlfe Drive. The big salt marsh is not very deep. It's only 4 to 5 feet deep when it's full. The salt comes from the groundwater traveling to the surface after crossing through the salt layers deep within the earth. As water in the big salt marsh evaporates during the dry summer months, the salt concentrates and rises. In about 1991, when the drought reduced the big salt marsh to only about 20 acres in size, the salt concentration in the remaining water was measured 3 times that of seawater. This is one big marsh. Let me give you an idea here by pulling back a little bit, and you'll see how big this thing really can be. Now off to the side here, to the right of the highway, is more of the riparian kind of habitat that we were just through a moment ago. And you'll see this is where we have some that are nesting out here today. This goes, of course, all the way up just about as far as you can see to the tree line up there is where we came into here from. This is, again, 22,000 acres. Is a lot of property. We're certainly not going to be able to give you a full view of it today, but we hope you come out and get a look at it for yourself. This is spot number 15 on their tour, self-guided tour, and you'll see that they consider it one of the best spots for watching the waterfowl, and if you look out here, you'll see why. The shallow west edge of the Big Salt Marsh is a favorite area for the sandhill cranes that use Quivira. Up to 70,000 sandhill cranes have been recorded using this area during their fall migration. Quivira is critical habitat for several endangered or threatened species, including the bald eagle. They feed on the wake of the migrating birds, of course. As Gary was nice enough to explain to us earlier, they migrate along with the waterfowl. We've got a chunk of birds out here on one of these things. I'm going to see if I can't get a view of them. Just a little bit of a spot out there where they're able to sit down and take them a break. At this spot here we also have, again this is spot number 15 on the self-guided tour. They have a spotting scope here that was donated by the Friends of Quivira. And as you can see, the viewing area here is just amazing. You just tend to not believe that there's this kind of a place in the middle of Kansas, but here it is. It's not only right here, it's within easy driving distance of St. John. We'll have to try and come out here a little closer towards evening some evening, see if we can't get you some more information and some more shots of some of these beautiful birds out here. Now then, I'm going to guess some of you folks would like to see where we've been today. We started off down here at the headquarters, and we've come straight up the road. We stopped at number 3, and we stopped at number 5, and then we came up the road, and we stopped at number 13, and we continued up the road, and we've gone all the way up to the top here. Now this is not a short distance either. And then we cut back around, we stopped at number 13 here, and then we came down this way at number 14, and right now we're right here. What we'll do now is you can see that the Big Salt Marsh is where we just took a picture of. There's a number of other little marshes all the way through here. And then the Little Salt Marsh is back down here, but they're all interconnected. Trying to show you all of Quivira in 1 week would be probably a little more than we could do, but I hope you folks get a chance to come out here and see what the place is like and enjoy this National Wildlife Refuge for yourself. Thank you.